Hello, Nomads, and welcome to Season 4 of the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. We're back. It wasn't that long of a break on our side. I feel like it went by pretty quick. We did a couple other episodes in there, but we have returned, like I said, for Season 4. This is episode 114. My name's Brandon, and I'm your host for this episode. But just like Indiana Jones, he doesn't go around by himself. He has to bring a buddy. I have two buddies with me. I have Eric.
Mola Ram, prepare to meet Kali in hell.
Yeah. That was my kid's favorite line. I watched that with my 8-year-old kid, and that was his favorite line. And Dave.
Hey, lady, you call him Dr. Jones.
Was that your
old short round?
Was that your short round?
I didn't
Yeah,
want
that
to
was-
be. No, I had to make it my own because you can't.
There's
I don't
nothing
want to
wrong with
be
your impression, man.
culturally insensitive.
You're not. But anyways, no, that's great. Yes, I'm excited to talk about this one. I love Indiana Jones, and I'm glad that we're starting with the one that technically takes place before all of them. If you look at the order of the Indiana
I
Jones
did not know
movies,
that before.
Indiana Jones Temple of Doom is like a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll get into like what Eric thinks and what Dave thinks later in the episode, but for now we could probably hit up socials and just catch, what other people thought when I asked about the movie.
Sure. Over on X, if you want to follow us at
Yeah,
Nomads
he's
of
doing
Fantasy.
it now. He got it. He's in there.
I mean, they officially changed the domain also to x.com now, so it's like
How much do they pay for that?
it's official. I don't know. Elon's got all the money in the world, so fucking who fucking knows. Anyways, our followers on X, Nick Arnott says, I watched Out of Order as a kid, and this was the first one I watched. It's what hooked me.
yeah.
Our good buddy Jake, our good buddy Jake said, been way too long since watching it. Honestly, the first three are all so good.
They're all. I don't know. They're all fantastic. This one came out after Raiders, but it was like such a divergence from Raiders. You're not fighting Nazis, and it's
It
not
is
as lighthearted.
very different.
I
Yeah.
think that's why it's so good.
Nothing wrong with being different as long as like the moments are there,
Well, Infinity Bros podcast disagrees. Says my least favorite of the original trilogy, but still so dang good. Classic Indy.
Right.
Movie Psycho says it's fucking great. Sons and Shadows cast says
excellent.
I love it. We did a review on it on our YouTube channel. Shout out. Co-host Kev wasn't as high on it, but we still had a fun time with it. The Jacked Up Review Show says classic. Super Doobie Comics says a perfect action film. I saw it opening weekend with my family. At 17, I was a fan, especially after knowing Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Harrison at his best, Lucas at his best, Spielberg at his best. An action movie that will last for centuries, I hope. Richard Lieberman says, love this film. The opening is electric, witty, and fun. It is a proper popcorn blockbuster, likable characters, great soundtrack, one-liners, villain, hero, and oozing cool. Got it all, baby.
Absolutely.
Got
Yeah.
it all. Nostalgia Cast says the best directed Indiana Jones film.
Oh, okay.
Sean at the movie says, unpopular opinion, despite its problematic elements, purely based in personal nostalgia, Temple of Doom is my favorite Indiana Jones movie.
Nothing wrong with that. It's
think-
such an adventure.
And it's very self-contained too, which is why it's.
Yeah.
I think it's it's its own little bit.
The movie Mustache says, love it. Maybe not as good as Raiders or Last Crusade, but still awesome. Mackie Rat says it's the best Indiana Jones movie. And my movie says, love it.
So, yeah. So everybody either says they love it or it's not their favorite, but they're all good.
Oh, and Spooky
Right.
T, shout out in the Twitch chat, says it's honestly my favorite one, hands down.
Yes,
Okay,
fantastic.
interesting. Okay.
So we got a lot of mixed
I
opinions.
mean, I'm for all this.
I mean, everybody
Yeah.
seems to like it, whether it's their favorite one or it falls somewhere
Nobody's throwing
in
out
the
the
indie scale. But
Trash, hot garbage.
yeah, exactly.
You know. Okay.
Highly regarded as a classic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Dave, I know we're just getting into season 4 here, but in the holidays coming up, we got Halloween
Oh yeah.
in a few weeks. Not in a few weeks, but
The Halloween decorations are out in this
This
house.
recording.
I've already got
Oh,
orange lights up.
really?
I've got
okay.
the
I
pumpkin
don't know
shit
when
out.
Halloween season starts for people. I know it kind of starts some point in September.
For a lot of
I-
people,
I-
it starts like September
Right at-
1st. People
right
love
after Labor Day.
the Halloween
whenever that
lovers.
is.
Yeah, the Halloween lovers really get after it
Huh.
when
Right.
September
If
comes
you think
around.
about it, the Halloween decorations are up longer per year than the Christmas decorations because you get all of September, October, but then Christmas you only get end of November to end of December. So
Do you leave?
in a way, it's kind of a bigger holiday than Christmas.
Do you leave the Halloween decorations up for Thanksgiving, or do you take them down? Like some
No,
people have Thanksgiving
it's a phase.
decorations, you know.
It's a phased approach. The pumpkin stuff you can leave up, not the jack-o'-lantern stuff, but you
Right.
gotta take the pumpkin
Because
stuff
you
down.
just go to
Take the
generic. You
witch
go
and
down to
ghost.
generic fall stuff after that.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like it's like a light version of the Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We don't really
we'll see.
decorate for Halloween. We just do like fall, because my wife thinks Halloween decorations are tacky. But
I know we're getting sidetracked, but like Dave, your comment about how long Halloween is, I'm thinking, man, that means A Nightmare Before Christmas has like all of Halloween and all of Christmas to just be played, and people have those
Yeah.
decorations. Like, how
Oh.
is that not like a bigger? I know it's kind of growing. I feel like it's growing in popularity. I'm seeing more
Good, like
merchandise
4-month
for it.
window for it. But
Yeah.
you do see it more often. I don't know.
yeah.
These days. I
And
think it's kind of making a resurgence.
I think Halloween is getting even bigger.
yeah,
Huh.
definitely. I've noticed in the
Well,
past few years as well.
It is the funnest
what-
holiday.
I know we're kind of like up in the air, but like, what are we thinking of doing?
Well,
like
so far on the
Halloween
calendar, we've got either ghost horror. We were talking about found footage movies. We're talking about monster movies. So, I mean, we're definitely absolutely open to suggestions. We're just talking Twilight Zone, all sorts of something creepy, aliens, monsters. You know,
'Tis the season.
It comes in all shapes and sizes. So, I would say that by the time this is out, if you do have any suggestions, I would shoot them over to us on X at Nomads of Fantasy.
Or our
on the-
Discord, Nomads
the
of Fantasy, or at nomadsfantasy.com/Discord. Email.
Yeah.
Nobody uses email. nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com.
Yeah, and when we do have something on the calendar, we'll have it out on as a tweet or as an X. I don't know what
As
what do you
an
call 'em?
X.
Do we call them as an X?
I
Do we
have
call-
no
is that what we
fucking
call it?
clue. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
As
It's
it,
not
we'll
thought
tweet
out
it
at
out.
all.
We'll get it.
Yeah, tweet is fine. People know what you're saying.
Mhm.
I like like we low key rolled out a new logo. It's still kind of come up in different places, but where I am putting it does look nice because it's really just the cross swords now, but it looks like an
Oh,
X.
it does. I didn't
So,
even notice that.
on the new on Twitter/X. It looks good. It'll look good there. I just haven't,
Huh.
I think
Similar
I've
to the
pushed it
logo.
a few places.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was like, yeah, this is working out timing wise.
Good accent.
Tease, I've also
Alright.
been working on the website in the background a bit. It's coming along, so
Yeah.
hopefully we can roll that out
There's always
soon.
something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait to see that.
Oh, I mean, we usually do this at the end of the show, but we rolled an update out for WhatMap as well. WhatMapGame.com. You can
That
now
is true.
play all of our historical past over 350 maps that we've done so far. So, new feature, you can play the previous maps. So, check it out. WhatMapGame.com.
That is
That's
nice
dope.
because if you do, I find that on if I miss a couple days over the weekend, I'll go back and play a couple.
Yeah.
It's
there you
just
go.
fun little
It's
side
nice to just-
distraction.
Yeah.
That's all you need. It's like your daily Wordle, except it's even quicker. So, yeah, go check
Right.
it out.
I don't know how to tell you guys this, but I don't know where we're flying, but there's no pilots and there's no fuel. So I don't know. Grab an inflatable raft,
Story of my life.
hop on,
Jump out
hold
of
on.
the fucking plane.
We're jumping out of Act 1, and we're gonna land in Act 2 right after this. Welcome back. Act 2, where we are talking about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That was the Temple of the Doom. The Temple of Doom. This is a great movie to me. I know a lot of people like it. We just went through the social. A lot of people praise it. But there's one mystery that I need solved. Eric has not seen
Oh
any
yes.
Indiana Jones movie.
No, that's not true.
Oh, I'm sorry. What
I've
did you
s-
watch?
I've seen Raiders. I've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes,
Oh, I don't
before
think you've
this.
seen it.
Yeah,
So, okay.
You were
Okay.
but
unimpressed.
well, yeah. So
Oh,
my
that's what it was. I'm sorry. You didn't see what all the hoopla was about it. But this one you haven't seen before, and you
no, no,
probably
no.
haven't
This was
seen.
my first watch with Temple of Doom, but yeah, my
Okay.
history with Indiana. I guess I don't have much history with Indiana Jones.
Right.
Like I don't know. I didn't really grow
You were
up with
born
it.
after the movies were made.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, sure, but so was I was born after Star Wars was made, and that's still
true.
whatever that
Yeah.
clicked with me for
TJ.
whatever
And
reason.
these are like they take place in different times, so it doesn't really matter. So, yeah.
So
Okay.
for whatever reason, I just never really watched them as a kid or teenager or anything, and then finally I'm like, I should probably watch some Indiana Jones movies. So about 6 years ago,
Right.
I watched Raiders, and I was like, it was good. I wasn't like blown away or anything. I feel like over the years, people are like, "Oh my God, Indiana Jones is the best film franchise that
Yeah.
ever existed." So I was going
Up
in
there.
with high expectations, and I'm like, it was fine. It was good.
Yeah.
But I
First
don't
one was
know.
made in what the 70s too. So it's not like that was a special effects driven or anything. It was just like an action
Sure.
drama kind of movie. So
But yeah, I don't know. This one though, I will say, clicked with me a lot more than Raiders. I don't know if it was
It's
just the
borderline silly.
yeah, I loved it. I don't know if it was just the time I watched it, Raiders or whatever, but or if I just liked this movie better. But for some reason, this one clicked with me a lot more than when I first watched Raiders 6 years ago. But yeah,
Okay.
I agree with the comment that we got on X that said like this movie has it all. It's got the action, it's got the romance, love interest, it's got comedy, it's got the fun moments, it's got some
It
horror,
does. It
elements in
does.
there. It's
It
got
has everything.
amazing
Uh-huh.
action, adventure. It's got everything.
I was looking at like the times like while I was watching this movie, and it is kind of broken up into specific chunks too. Like I don't know, the first third of the movie, like you don't get to Pankot Palace until you're like 45 minutes into the movie. And that's when things actually like that's where like the second act kind of takes place, which is kind of interesting. But then it takes turns as it goes through the story where there's the bugs and there's the gross stuff and we can get into all that stuff later. But yeah, it definitely has different I think feeling like action at the end, horror in the middle, some lighthearted stuff in the beginning. It's great. Oh, how you could not like it, which is my
Yeah,
question.
dude. Yeah, I just want to gush about it. And seeing it with a critical eye for the show, it's just like a total. I've said this before, but like it just totally changes the way you watch a movie, and you're paying attention to the beats. I was noticing. Okay, so it starts off. I love how every Indiana Jones, especially when I say every, I'm going to talk about like the original trilogy. I'm not going to talk about the later two. I'm going to talk about the original trilogy when I reference this franchise from here on out, just so everybody knows, because you kind of have to lump them together, right? And they all start with a great intro, right? They all do.
Mhm.
Like Raiders of the Lost Ark has like the whole like shifting of the bag of sand and like taking the monkey head or whatever it is, and then the ball chases after him, right? Incredible opening sequence. This one does this whole dance number at Club Obi-Wan, which you guys caught the Obi-Wan, right? Hopefully.
Oh, I
The
didn't
club
until
name is
I saw
called
one of your
Obi-Wan.
drawings. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the name of the club that the Temple of Doom takes place in. And but anyways, what I liked was how tight. I noticed how tight John Williams was with like the script, with the editing, with the acting. Like everybody involved nailed it. Like when Indiana Jones sits down, and he has like it's like the the remains of an emperor, right, in like a jar or something like that, some old general, and he puts it down at that table, and then it
So he's
goes
got the
to
big lazy Susan. Yeah, that's great.
the lazy Susan, and then he gives him like the diamonds, right?
Mm-hmm.
That whole sequence where the camera goes, what they're saying, how they look when they're saying it, and then the music of John Williams, it's beautiful. It's so tight. Like, I don't know what it's like to teach a class in like film and editing and all that stuff, but I feel like I would use this opening 10 minutes and explain this is how you craft suspense and humor and adventure in like 15 minutes. I don't know. I just think it's masterclass.
Yeah, I
And
love
it
the
has me
intro
hooked.
because, yeah, like you said, it hooks you right out of the gate. There's intrigue to what's going on, and it introduces you to Indiana Jones as a character. You know, it does a great job of that, and it's nice because it's kind of like you said, it's its own contained thing. It's like it doesn't really have any bearing on the rest of the story for the rest of the movie. It's just kind of like
And
a
it's the
fun introduction.
it's the kickstart
Yeah.
because that leads them to the plane, and then that's why the pilots jump out, and that's why they
That's how he
crash. That's
gets
how they end
hooked
up in
up with
India, and it's
Willie. You know how
What's
she.
up,
it's like
Dan
a
Aykroyd? Didn't know what plane it was. Was he in on it? Because like, why did he get him on that airplane of all airplanes?
that wasn't Dan Aykroyd, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dan
in
Aykroyd
short
was in this
shorts.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I did not even
Yep.
notice that. I
So
just
you know what's cool? Oh
huh.
yeah, there's so much in this movie. So you know what's cool though is that after Raiders of the Lost Ark, you saw him have the adventure from beginning to end, right? And then this one, he just got done with the adventure, apparently, right? He shows up with the thing that he's turning in, and this
Mm-hmm.
happens when he's just like running away, and he's like just thinking on his feet, and he didn't plan on crashing into this village and saving these people. He wanted to land there and like, oh shit, and then get out kind of thing. So
The life of Indy.
I like that this one just pulls him in on a side quest. It's not a main quest, it's like a
Mhm.
side quest. He didn't mean to find these stones. He just stumbled upon it. They think it's fate, there's magic in this one. And you know what's interesting is I saw that Spielberg and Lucas, maybe Lucas specifically, said that each Indiana Jones movie takes place in its own universe. They're not all in the same universe. So that's how the different legends can appear in the other ones and he doesn't react to it.
That's weird.
Huh.
So that's how he
I
gets
never thought
around
of
that. But that's what he said. These are all like, what if this happened? What if this happened? It's supposed to be
Like
their own.
like a comic book story, like a little one-off run, or something.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
that
know.
breaks because like in the later movies they bring back some characters from the older movies. So
Yeah, and there's I mean, I can see why people have certain issues with certain parts of it. I get Willie did get a little annoying in the movie. Some people have criticized Willie's character for being a little over the top. Like,
I didn't like her when I was younger, but now I totally relate to the character, which is stupid to say, but like yeah,
She's
like could you imagine having to do some of this shit? You're not an adventurer. I'm not an adventurer. I'd be
right.
freaked out.
She's
not
sort of
eating,
like
monkey brains.
comedic relief a little bit because she she doesn't know
Oh
what
yeah,
she's doing. She's just along for the ride. But I do
She's
like
greedy.
yeah yeah
It's diamonds.
yeah I do like that she sort of throughout the movie she gets a little bit better, more involved with the adventure itself. But towards the beginning she is just annoying and like fucking snakes and all this. The jungle scene was a pretty good bit.
yeah. It's like
Yeah.
even
When
like
they
the
set
little
up
Makes a
camp
lot
in
of
the
faces
jungle.
and voices though. Like
Yeah.
watching her act though, like she's pulling off pretty slapstick comedy in an
Yeah.
adventure movie
Mhm.
beside Harrison Ford, right? And I thought Harrison and her in Short Round have excellent chemistry.
It's yeah. It's one of the things
It's
I
just
ever
so
noticed.
good. They just all play off of each other so
especially
well.
especially
Indian
the
short round.
relationship. Yeah, the relationship between Indy and Short Round is great.
Yeah.
It's
Like
like
it's like that.
it's like a
uncle,
father son sort of
Yeah, I was
thing.
gonna say
Right.
uncle nephew. I don't know,
Yeah.
father son.
Everyone
maybe.
loves
But like
Indiana
the
Jones, man.
card game when they're at the campsite and they
All
get
it
accused
was
of
all made up.
cheating
It was
and
all improv, I guess.
was
That
it?
scene. Man, I
And
didn't know
like
that. I was just looking into it.
Indy speaks I think 4 different languages in this movie, which I noticed. I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking Indy is like not only
Super
is he
smart.
hunky and like this is like prime Harrison Ford, like
Oh,
Dude, there was
Harrison
one
movie
hunk
star
in
hunk.
this.
there was one
Yeah.
the scene where he has his shirt off. I'm like, damn, dude. Dude's looking good.
Did you know that he like fucked up his back big time in this movie?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got totally messed up, like halfway or 2/3 or three, whatever. Yeah, 3/4, 2/3. Yeah, he got fucked up, and some of the rest of the filming had to be done by his stunt double that he's used for his movies, and
shit.
Oh shit! Wow.
yeah, and he just had to be kind of careful with the scenes they shot with him up close to finish the rest of the movie. But
Did he fuck it up like
uh,
on set or something while they were
yeah, it
filming?
was really bad, and he had to have like kind of, I don't know, like state of the art surgery done. They flew him to like
Wow.
U.S. to like to have like the surgery and get him in enough shape that where they could send him back. Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, interesting. But he is jacked in this movie for sure.
Dude, yeah, he's
Was
just
it
looking
that-
fit.
That bridge
Yeah.
scene. Bridge scene is the fucking clutch of it. But
Dude, there's
that's a
so
whole different
many
thing.
scenes. So okay, Eric.
So many good
You know,
scenes.
everybody that's listened to this episode has seen the movie. We don't have to go through it, but like just the things that they pulled off, like the minecart scene. You know, the whole interior stuff, the palace.
Minecart is so good. There's so many good sequences. They're not even just scenes, but they're like entire sequences, you know? Like it's so good. Like the minecart specifically, when they go down into like when they find that secret door in Willie's room and they go down into the cave and they're like in the spike pit, the spike room, you know?
Dude, I love that. I mean, what are the chances
It's like
that
classic.
Sherman not only steps on it,
Yeah.
but then he like leans on something.
You
it just
told me
happens
lean
to be
against the
the-
wall.
Right. Oh, he's so.
It's all
Oh,
it's
he's
like the
so
like
good in that movie.
it's like the cliches that we all see in like whenever something's referencing in, you know, Indiana Jones. The spike pits, the spikes coming down from the ceiling, the last second,
Yeah.
you know, they roll out of there at the last second. So it's good.
My one of my favorite lines is in that scene when Willie gets there. She's like, you got to put your hand in the hole on the left on your right, and she's like, your other right. She goes, oh. She's like, I don't like this bug. She's like, I can't do it. And then like the camera goes up to the hole, and Indiana Jones like he puts his face up to it. He's like, we are going to die. And he makes
Yeah.
this frown
So
face, dude. It's like he's so on point. Like he is that character. Like, and that's like
Oh yeah.
moments like that. Like the characters just feel so
It's not Harrison
like
Ford. It's
realized.
Indy. It's fucking Indy
Yeah.
yelling through the hole. It's not here. Yeah, I get you.
Just their behaviors, the way they're all acting in that scene is just like so good. Like they did a good job making these characters. Like I feel like if they were replaced with a different actor, it would be a big deal. Like, yeah, this feels weird. But I can see other movies where like you could replace them and the movie would still be the same. But I don't think you could take any of these actors out of that role. Like who else could have played Short Round? I think they went through like 800, 900 kid actors or something stupid
It was
like
his
that.
film debut for that too.
And he was so good in his audition. They brought Harrison Ford to just do it right there with him.
Won the role out of over 6,000 auditions.
6,000?
He was there to support his brother too. It's that old thing where he's there to support his brother and he gets the job.
Damn.
So
Oh,
I saw also while we're talking about that scene before we jump to the next one that Katie Capshaw, who played Willie, eventually married Steven Spielberg as well.
I heard he like fell in love with her on that set. Or something.
How could you not? But the bug scene, she was covered with over 2,000 insects, and they gave her sedatives prior to the scene to get over her initial fear.
I don't
of going
blame
through
her.
that. Like,
Knowing that they're real
This
and
is
seeing
fucking
the actually go
crazy.
through there. I broke a nail. You know, like that's a real bug, man.
That's like some Fear Factor level shit. No way. I can't.
That creeped me the fuck out as a kid. Like, eek.
Yeah, I was looking. It's fun, like looking into the making of movies, like you know, especially a movie that's well documented like this. I mean, you're getting like all the greats in it, so of course we're gonna know what went into it. But yeah, she what's her name again? Sorry, what's the name of
Katie Capshaw.
Capshaw. So there was all this stuff that happened with the elephants. Like I know, like it fucked up Harrison Ford's back or something like that. One of the elephant scenes or something had hurt him, but she didn't want to do a scene with a snake. So when they're at that campfire scene, she's bumping all the animals and stuff like that. The one scene they would get her with was when she thinks it's the elephant's trunk.
Yeah.
It's actually a snake. She pulls it. Same thing. Like she like like, I'm not doing. She didn't look at the script, I guess, and she didn't know what was coming. So she's just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not doing a scene with a snake. And like, they had all this stuff. So like, finally got that scene where she at least touched the snake and grabbed it, which is still kind of. Bleh.
That's
I give her
crazy.
props for being able to do that. If you don't want to be in a scene with a snake and. All right, how about you just grab it, thinking it's not, you know.
And then it bites you
I don't
fine.
know if I could do. Like, actors get shit on sometimes. Like, I give them shit sometimes. Like, oh wow, what a tough life. You gotta act and get paid a lot of money to be adored by people. But in the moment, could you imagine facing a fear, but you have to do it? Like, I'm petrified of heights.
Or
Can you
like,
imagine?
yeah, you see actors that like die on set, or like you said, Harrison getting fucked up on this thing. I found the
Shit
specifics
Tom
on
Cruise
that.
is doing these days.
Yeah, I think Tom Cruise has got a death wish to die on camera. I think that's what he's.
I think
trying
he's
to
like, this
do.
is how I want to go out.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of
Dude, like
actors,
insane.
that's
Leave
how
it
they
in.
would want to, you know, doing what they
But-
love, you know.
The Harrison thing suffered a herniated disc in his back in the fight scene where he's attacked in his bedroom by the thuggy assassin, causing production to be shut down. He was flown to Los Angeles for spinal surgery.
Okay,
And then
there you go. So I knew it was something serious.
Large portion of his fights were performed by a stuntman. And they said that he bears an uncanny resemblance to Harrison Ford at the time. So they didn't have to do a lot of like hiding of the face stuff. They just
It's cool.
They just did it like that. So that's.
I will say, for a movie that came out in 1984, it was with this one. Everything looks fucking great. Like, it's all obviously it's all practical effects, but all the sets look incredible.
The sets were fucking.
Sets look really good,
especially when they're down in like the temple at the like the altar and stuff.
Feels like a fucking temple.
Amazing.
It looks like a temple.
I was very impressed. Like
everything.
They're not using. I mean, there's a couple like special effects stuff that they use.
Oh, when
like
the airplane
the plane explosion was terrible. It was bad. It was bad.
That happens, sure.
But like, I just gotta give this movie credit for it. I just think the set design is amazing in this movie.
Spielberg and Lucas are like on fire at that point, you know.
And like when they're
just like
in specifically at those like altar scenes when they're lowering them into the fire, like that shit looks really good too. Like, I don't know how they did those scenes, but like it didn't look like CG with like the fucking swirling fire pit.
Yeah,
it looked really good.
Yeah,
it looked hot down. Like, I don't know. It's
they're like lowering them into the fucking pits of hell. Oh, like, what? This is insane.
Golly,
the lighting is really good.
So good.
Mm-hmm. The lighting is really good in this movie.
Like, I remember as a kid, I had to. My parents made me leave the room for the heart ripping out scene. Specifically, after that, everything else was okay, I guess. But like just watching that now, I'm like, yeah, that didn't look as good as I remembered it. Like, that's what I was scared about as a kid. But
all right, one issue I did have though. I mean, it's just a matter of plot armor, but like they do the whole ritual with the one guy. They rip his heart out. They fucking lower him down.
But what did you think of that? Well, hold on, you can't just go past that.
Okay, no, but let me air out my gripe. Let me air out my gripe first.
I know exactly what this gripe was going to be too, because
why didn't they rip out her heart?
Why didn't they rip out Willie's heart?
Because she was a woman, and you don't rip out the women's hearts because it's.
That's
gross.
bull. Come on.
I don't know.
Armor,
I know it's plot armor, but it just bothered me.
You can't shoot. You cannot. A bullet cannot hit Indiana Jones. It'll hit everything around him. It could be a rope in front of him, and it'll hit that.
Yeah,
there's plot armor everywhere.
No, it's fine, but I was just like,
shit.
It's just weird, but whatever. Yeah, no, but
yeah.
Continue with your previous thought where you're going. I think you were just gonna ask me what you thought of that scene, or what I thought of that scene.
Is that what it was? Okay. Well, what did you like, asked me to remind.
This is some of the stuff that is like leaning into like legit like horror stuff. Like you said, you might watch this movie with your kids. I'm like, damn, there's some legit scary stuff in this movie.
It's human ritual sacrifices. I mean,
yeah, just ripping hearts out, dip them into fucking, pools of lava. No big deal.
So I knew, and I know this stuff, but like kids back in the day didn't know it was coming, and they saw it and they survived. Yes, it's shocking, but I can at least give them a heads up, and they can kind of cover and just hear it instead of seeing it. And I told them what was happening on the screen. But yes, there are a couple scenes in this movie that if you plan to watch them with your kid, and I have an 8-year-old, pretty smart kid, but horror is horror visually. So I told him to go, hey, there's gonna be a dinner scene at the palace,
Yeah.
and they're gonna bring up very gross stuff. Like one of the scenes is gonna be a snake where they slice it open and baby snakes
That was
come out
disgusting.
and they eat.
Fucking
That
that
dinner
gave me
scene
the
was
fucking
awesome.
willies.
I love
Oh.
that scene.
It's and like they're making it extra creepy, like the guy's eating and he's like sucking it off.
And it's all like
you
see all the mucus and stuff fucking dripping off it. Oh, so gross.
Yep.
Oh, when they get the
It's
bugs
soup
and
with
he's like
eyeballs.
he's scraping out the
it's
like the
ridiculous.
inside of the
Oh.
bugs off of his teeth and like
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's super gross. But then I told them like, okay, so he watched that and they were like, yeah, this is weird, it's kind of gross, but like they're okay with that. But the heart, ripping out the heart out of the chest scene, I definitely told him like, hey, this is a scene you probably shouldn't see, but I'll just tell you what's gonna happen. So that guy's gonna die. They're gonna rip his heart out, but it won't kill him. He'll say like boom boom shiba or whatever, like 100 times.
Homum shibai.
Oh, okay. That was
That one's bad. It's
Oh, I
burned
don't-
into my brain from
okay.
seeing
And
this.
then he gets burned. But hold on, Dave. What was it that you were saying? Like, because like we were there, Eric and I were watching with subtitles, and you were like,
I was
it's
saying
not-
Galima instead of Kalima.
yeah, I thought that was
But-
funny.
I don't know. That's always when you're
It's
fighting with your
Kali.
brother, when you're fighting with your brother as a kid and you're wrestling or whatever. I grew up with one of 6 kids and we fucked around, but always
Right.
trying to do the Galima and rip out your brother's heart. You guys have never done
Right.
that before?
No,
Okay.
No.
It might just be an us thing. I don't know. I never succeeded, but I tried.
Never succeeded at
It's
the heart
tough.
rip.
I didn't have the blood of, was it Kali flowing? through
Kali,
me?
yeah. They make it look so easy. He just dips his hand
just
right in
goes
the chest
whoop,
and
whoop.
whoop. Yep, takes it right out.
It's like the sternum isn't even there. He just like
Just a little. Yep.
it's like it's fake or something. It's weird.
Yeah. No, that was real. They really ripped that guy's heart and they killed him.
Mhm.
I
On
gotta,
set.
even though I gotta, because I'm remembering, but we kind of skipped over probably the worst acting I've seen in a long time.
Whoa.
So I think Short Round, great kid acting,
Mm-hmm.
great
yeah,
kid
yeah.
acting. But when
Don't
The
you talk
crew
about
is-
the Maharaji.
when the kids are kidnapped, I'm sorry, when the group is kidnapped, they are
Mhm.
put in a cage, and they are sharing a cage with 2 boys without shirts on. And they're very skinny, and they're talking about like the deep sleep, like, and then when
Oh,
you go to
after they
sleep,
got- yeah.
you don't wake up from it. It's like an eternal nightmare.
Mhm.
Those kids cannot act. I noticed it back then. Every time I watch it, it's just so striking, and
Give 'em
I
a
can't
break.
stand the way they.
They
It's
were
like-
So bad.
They're
They
little
were
Indian
slaves.
kids trying to speak English. Like I'm surprised how
I
first off
I
how
get
do they
it.
know English is the weird part. But
Oh, I know. I know, right? Well,
I thought you were gonna make fun of the Maharaji,
the British
the little kid
British
at the table.
occupation is still happening though during this
That's
movie.
True.
So it might have been more common at that time because it was a way of like living or surviving shit.
Mhm.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, that's a
But
whole
their
history
acting was
for
just
that.
horrible, and yeah.
Well, it's
I don't know.
interesting that they made this a prequel. Apparently, Spielberg didn't want Nazis to be the bad guys in the movie again, so that's
Apparently,
why they,
this movie was leftover
Was it bad?
material that they wanted to do in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they made this out of the leftover scenes.
out of the leftovers.
Which is
shit.
Which is crazy to think about an airplane where he jumps out with an air raft and a minecart chase scene, right?
wow. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was just
So,
like, huh, what
you-
was the original Raiders of the Lost Ark gonna be?
You just mentioned the raft out of the airplane, and I
Yeah.
have heard comparisons of that to the nuking of the fridge. Like
Yeah, dumb, just
Like,
dumb.
it's unbelievable at the same time. I guess this one, but I don't think that the way that it looks like it falls and the way that it is filmed, it looks like you could jump out of a plane with a fucking raft and be okay. I don't know.
If it's inflated enough, sure, why not? And you keep it upright, you'll be fine.
I mean, sure. He told everybody to hold on tight, and then he jumped.
No,
and
you would fucking.
You can see like the weight in the middle, and obviously it's gonna flip and fall and do all sorts of crazy stuff. in the
Next
sky.
would be snapped. People.
Yeah, you'd be
you know,
fine.
They
You'd
might
be-
not die,
you'd be-
but they'd
you'd
be
be dead.
fucked up.
They landed in snow. and then they slid down the mountain.
Listen,
And
if
then
the
into a
snow
river,
Mere
and then-
if the
seconds
snow
from
was
that.
fluffy enough, people jump out of helicopters and on snowboards, and go down mountains on snow. So,
Yeah. I think the one I would take umbrage with is when they go from the snow off of the cliff into the river,
And then over a waterfall.
And yeah.
and then did they go over a waterfall?
Yeah.
They went off the cliff into the river through the rapids, and then it just slowed down, and then they just
No, they definitely went over a waterfall.
that wasn't a waterfall. I think it was just a cliff.
Okay, either way.
I think we're talking about the same thing, but yeah, I was like, I saw that, and I'm like, well, I guess I haven't seen the fourth one, Crystal Skulls, and since it came out, but I do remember the nuking the fridge, and then I see this, and I'm like, well, is nuking the fridge really that bad if they're doing this? Like,
You know what this reminds
we're
me
just
of?
being a little too critical these days.
It's fine because I mean, this is dumb to say, but now that I've seen this movie, I can obviously see the inspiration of the Uncharted games, of how much they are exactly the same as like Indiana Jones and how much inspiration they've taken from those games. Because I played the Uncharted games first before I ever saw Indiana Jones movie.
True.
But like the set pieces and the ridiculous type of shit that Nathan Drake is going through in those games is very similar to something like the raft out of the plane, or like, and like it's the same with Nathan Drake. Like he is invincible when it comes to people shooting at him, and he kills hundreds of bad guys.
Indiana Jones is the kind of guy who can punch two people at the same time. Like
Right.
he's punching people so hard that they're going flying past the camera and sliding on the ground. Like
he was pissed off though.
when he's strong and he's mad. Yeah,
he's basically a fucking superhero. Yeah,
he is a superhero. So hold on. You talking about Uncharted, right? Okay, it made me think as I'm watching this movie. I'm like, why don't we have an Indiana Jones franchise on console? Why are we not playing that game? Because like we have Tomb Raider and we have Uncharted. And I would say there's totally opportunity to have an Indiana Jones that plays just like those games. Like maybe even make it a little bit more RPG. Make it like a Mass Effect or like kind of game. Like what's that developer?
Yeah, I mean,
BioWare.
Machine Games is making
They made an Indiana Jones.
The Wolfenstein developers are making Indiana Jones game. So we'll see what.
Okay, I know that, but
Should
like,
be out in a couple years,
Rocksteady, dude. Like, I would trust them with an Indiana Jones game.
They would be good too. I think it's just I think it's just Uncharted kind of already mastered that genre, and that it would just be Uncharted with an Indiana Jones skin. Yeah, but like, fucking Naughty Dog, one of the best game developers to exist today. Like, I just made that game.
Like that Style of Destiny, it's like the last time like Harrison Ford's going to play Indiana Jones. We can't, and it's just going to be hard to see a new actor play that role. It's going to happen, and I'm just emotionally like Harrison Ford playing that character, right? So I feel like with the video games, you just get somebody who can sound like Harrison Ford, and they will do the artwork to make it look like him, right? I just feel like that could be a way to keep Indiana Jones and put him on all these cool adventures.
Depends who the developer is, and it depends what kind of game it is. Because, like I said, I think it's hard to compete with the Uncharted games. It's basically Indiana Jones.
But that's like just I'm playing through those games. I'm on like the halfway through the second one, right? 4 is incredible. 1 is good. 2 is really fun, right? I'm working through those games, but like maybe I'm on the third one now that I think about it. But anyways, but they really yes, the adventure is good. The acting is really good in those games. I do like the Uncharted games, but I would say it's more action. I'm saying with Indiana Jones, half of the fun is slowing down and solving the puzzles, solving the mysteries, having romance, right? He's a James Bond character. There's always a woman, right? Like there's like just tons of set pieces. I feel like there's an opportunity to make an RPG action game, just like Uncharted, but just that's what I want to see. And it's gonna fucking whip the music.
I don't know how RPG-ish it would be though. I feel like we're getting sidetracked.
It's more like action. It's more. I mean,
well, it's okay to talk talk about a game.
I just think it would be it would be weird for an Indiana Jones game to be an RPG. Like Indiana Jones doesn't level up or get new abilities or anything. He has his whip and he has his fucking he can
better whipping.
Fair,
Oh.
fair.
I feel like I mean, I could see it being a narrative third-person action game, much like the Uncharted games.
Right.
But I think
Yeah.
I think there's room for it. It could be.
Dude, I just want Indiana Jones to be bigger, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Just surprised there isn't a game.
Yeah, that is true. It's been a long time since there was one, I believe.
I'm interested to
I don't
see that
remember.
Machine Games game because like they're known for making really good first-person shooters, but Indiana Jones isn't
Right.
really a shooter. Like that, translating that to a first-person shooter, I don't think is a great idea.
I mean, look who's making the next Fable. It's the guys who's make Forza.
Right, that's true. They could
So it's just
completely.
weird how
It doesn't. Yeah, just because they've made first-person shooters in the past doesn't mean it's going to be a first-person shooter. But you know,
yeah.
we'll see. Hopefully, they do
Yeah.
it justice.
It'll be in a couple years. We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
you got
so
time to watch the new ones.
there's a scene that gets me. I always have a hard time seeing it, and I really had to force myself to watch the scene. But so when Indiana Jones is saved by Short Round, him and Willie get together. They're trying to escape, and then there's like a really big guy that he has to fight, and
Yeah,
he
final
like
boss.
throws the
It's
he
the big,
throw- yeah for the boss
the big
fight.
ball
he
Nazi
throws-
guy
fight,
from the
yeah.
first movie. It's the same.
It's exactly
same
what
thing.
it is. He
Mhm.
fights it, and the environment takes him out. Now this one, like he couldn't get out of it. The other one, he just didn't see the blades and he got killed. But this one is weird because Indiana Jones and this guy are fighting. Indiana Jones' head is almost pulverized by this thing, but he like gets out of it somehow, and then. Well, how does he get out of
The
that? How does he almost dies?
voodoo stops, and all of a sudden he does his like
Oh, and he
Hulkamaniac.
becomes extra
His
strong.
Hulk up. He's like,
Yeah,
he's
that's
the
Yeah, he
ultimate
turns on his
fucking warrior.
superhero strength.
Rah,
Oh, that's
man.
right. That's right. And the music kicked in. John Williams gave him a booster.
Mhm.
See, that would be in the video game. You have to double tap and get a timer. And all right. Anyways, so he beats this guy up. Tables turn. That guy's fabric is pulled into it,
Mhm.
and now Indiana Jones like what has a change of heart. He's like, man, like you
He's
almost
not gonna
pushed
let
my
somebody
head of
die
that.
like that.
But the guy almost did that to Indiana Jones. He almost had him there. He almost did that to his head. What a way to go!
It's true.
This one, he's starting with his feet, and it's just so disturbing. I don't know.
He's just yeah.
I guess because Indiana Jones is a good guy, so he's
Well,
like,
and
yeah,
when he
that's
gets
still fucked
pulled
up.
under, he pulls the rope, and that pulls Indy up, and that's how he swings over to get into the mine cart. It kind of just it moves him around the set a little bit when he tries to help.
Okay.
I did notice that too. I'm like, wow, he really does have a heart of gold. The guy did just straight up murder him, but
And I like the shot
thankfully-
where he's like punching that guy, and then you
Yeah.
got Short Round punching the other kid and stuff like that. Like it's just fun. Like
Mhm.
that's why I wanted my kids to watch this one because there's a kid in there, and it's just like he's fighting like with like his father figure. You know, they're both. He totally looks up to Short Round, and Indiana Jones kind of has an arc because he has this fame and fortune, right? He wants fame and fortune,
Fortune and glory.
Mhm.
fortune and glory. Thank you, fortune and
Yeah.
glory. But then at the end of the movie, he's like giving the people the stuff, like that's theirs. Like it's no.
Well,
nobody should have
even
this
Willie
thing.
says like, "Hey, what about your fortune and glory?" And like, there's still where are they going? Delhi or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Well, it's just like I don't know. It's the thing with Indy. This is like a side adventure. Like everywhere Indiana Jones goes is a fucking adventure. So
Yeah,
like,
he
I don't
just
know.
kinda
It's
got
just like
pulled,
it's
sucked
built
into it.
his. It's built into Indy. Wherever he goes, he's the fucking. That's where the party is. That's where the action's happening.
I would love to
That's
see
my
like, the
Indiana
storyboard
Jones.
for this movie because going from that epic fight to the minecart scenes that you said he goes into the minecart,
Mhm.
and then like it's so funny like the main villain, the main antagonist. I know we haven't really talked about him. Super cool villain.
Mularam.
He yeah, he's great. He orders like his guys to get in the carts too. It's just like if that was really happening, you're chasing a guy and the guy gets in a cart, you're like, all right, everybody, yeah, let's get in the carts too.
Let's get in
like,
mine
it just
carts and
seems-
chase him.
It
Yeah,
just sounds cartoonish of an idea, but they get
Uh-huh.
in and they're like, and they just chase after him in their cart. It's such a good.
what
I
is
thought
the-
it was like not gonna hold up, but it's just the camera work and production is incredible.
I'm really curious what like the first piece of media to do the minecart trope was because it's just a trope that's permeated like video games so much. And like
Yeah.
I feel like this is maybe the first movie that I've ever seen it in. So I don't know if this movie popularized it or what, but I was just curious.
Steven Spielberg and George Lucas are huge fans of the old movies, and this Indiana Jones is
I was
a
gonna
big
say
nod.
it had
to
to
all
come
those
from
old-
like a fucking movie from like the 1930s or something, you know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. If somebody knows, they can please write in, join our Discord, and tell us there if you want.
Every time we're wrong, please.
Yeah.
They do have. I mean, they do have Disney rides that are like built around like Indy. I've never been on one, which it sounds awesome, but I know Disneyland Paris has one. I think Disneyland in California might have one too, but I don't know if they're mine carts or whatever either. But like it seems like it's kind of set up for that pretty perfectly.
Dude, it's so fucking fun. Like the gag of like those things where they switch the lanes. I think, or the tracks rather. I just like that mechanic, just adding that in the scene because you're hitting on and off and like what they're using to hit it, and then like the one cart gets fucked up and like they have like a metal bar in front of them, and it's just like visually seeing this, it looks fucking real. Like I know it's all
amazing,
like,
yeah.
It just seems like it was really I don't know. I was just blown away. And at the time, I couldn't imagine seeing this in the theaters and being like, "What the fuck? Like, how do they do that?" And this is practical effects.
It won the 84, 85 Academy Awards for Best Visual Effects.
I mean,
and
every
the British Academy Film Awards for Best Special Visual Effects.
So. Everything in this movie is
the only ones that won.
Believable. Like, except the only thing that I noticed throughout this entire movie that I'm like, that doesn't look good, is that plane explosion. And I'm like, after that, like everything is like
the palace.
I didn't question anything.
Like a matte painting,
you know.
Okay.
Oh, the matte painting. You got it. That's perfect though. That's classic. More movies don't crib that. Like that's
matte paintings are great.
Indiana Jones. You hear the song and you see the dot move and you see the plane fly.
Oh, I love that shit.
Yep.
Like it's
I'm not talking about
classic
globe-trotting
adventure.
Matte painting, or like the palace is like
the backdrop. Yeah.
The backdrop.
Yeah.
Just a matte. Yeah. Yeah. Production. Can't say enough about the production, the music, the acting, the characters, the adventure. Like, so I mean, I guess we're building up to like that one scene where they get out.
The ending. Yeah.
The water's like shooting like crazy and all that shit, and they finally just make it. I love that whole water. You know, such a good joke. The jokes are good in this. But like they get to the bridge scene,
the best.
And I love that scene because
we missed right before the bridge scene. There's a nice little callback to Raiders with the whole the gun. He's reaching for his gun. He's like, shit, because he's just going to shoot the two guys that were standing in front of him like he did in Raiders, and no gun.
Callback.
I think he does this when he's Harrison Ford, but he has an excellent smile. I love Indiana Jones' smile. Like it's so like douchebaggy almost.
Charming though, yeah.
But it's so charming. So he does this one time. It's a great smile. It's when they go to the village in the beginning of the movie, and Willie's like, "I'm hungry, but I'm not eating that food. It's gross." And he's like, "You're insulting them, and you're embarrassing me. Eat the food." He's like, "What is it?" And he explains it's like it's pretty gross, right? But it's like they don't have much food, and they're giving it to you. You have to eat it. And she's just like, oh, fine. So she's like, she does eat the food, but the shot that they take is like when they cut to her eating it, you have Harrison Ford with this big fat smile. He's just like eating. He's like chewing and smiling and looking at her. It's like, because he knows like he's got the hots for her. She kind of has a hots for him, but she's being a total snot, and he's just like, this is his way of like fuck you. You know, kind of like rubbing at her. And then he does that later on with the gun. He's like, look at those guys coming. It's like, he's just got a great grin or smile.
Charisma, baby. It's oozing. Harrison Ford is oozing charisma.
I just love that smile. And he just does it in this movie very well.
Mm-hmm.
So did they first meet Willie and Harrison at the club, like when that deal went down?
Yeah. He was the singer that was just singing at that guy's club.
Yeah, but she gets on a plane with him on like a cargo plane. Like, wouldn't she just like run away? Like,
where she didn't have anywhere else to go.
She never had a chance to. She got dragged.
Singer at a club.
Yeah, but
all he needed was the antidote. Once he had the antidote with him, like he didn't need her anymore.
Well, the guy at the beginning with the statue or whatever. Yeah, Lao.
Lao Che.
He owned the club, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and basically
They're trying to kill him.
yeah, and he
And
basically owned Willie too, like, and she's sort of like, he basically said he, since she was sort of
They'll
siding
get
with Indy,
another.
like she didn't really care about her anymore. So I don't think
Well,
she
she
really
didn't-
had much to go back to after that whole club scene went down.
She didn't side with him. She was kind of kidnapped.
She just got caught up in
essentially.
it, but like they were ready to kill her, over the statue. Like they didn't really
That's
care.
true.
They didn't really care about her. So
Hmm.
I don't know. She just kind of
was
fell
weird. I was
into
like,
the adventure
like,
with
they
Indy.
just-
Well,
met and
they
they're-
jumped through the glass window and they land in the car with Short Round, and then Short Round's driving because they're
Right, she
trying
didn't
to
have a
kill them.
choice. Right,
So she's just like she couldn't do anything.
just
And
along
next
for
thing
the
you know,
ride.
they're thrown in the airplane. There was no chance. I don't think there was like a chance for her to really run away. And I think Indy was holding on to her for a while. I think. But
Indy.
who?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
was
don't know.
interesting.
That's the kind of it's like dumb stuff
You
like
can't
that.
think
I guess.
about it too much
No.
either, yeah, because I don't know.
Gotta go along
talking
for the
about-
ride.
Hey,
We're
I
talking
mean,
about rocks.
he does get to, I don't know if it's charming. I thought it was kind of charming where she's like walking away and whoosh,
Yeah.
he's got her around her waist and he pulls her over for a big
Uh-huh.
kiss. I was like,
Uh-huh.
I mean,
anyone else would be called a pig, but Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones does it. It's like that's fucking hot.
It's true. He's too charming. He's too goddamn charming.
Women might hate that scene, and men are just like, yeah. But the bridge scene though, the big bridge scene,
Yeah.
it is so good. It's a good way to end the movie because like how sometimes like killing off a villain is like lame, but it's a good fight.
Another
fight to the end.
another good villain death in this movie for sure.
Yeah.
It was
Especially when
weird
they fall
because
to
it
their
shows them fall and then it just like cuts to like alligators eating a piece of fabric. They don't actually like I
They
know,
did that
can't
with
show
yeah,
a person getting eaten, obviously, but yeah, I was like, meh. But like it's very, very suspenseful because you think they're gonna get across, and then Mularam shows up and you get them cornered
Yep.
essentially in the
Great
middle.
music in that scene.
And
I
then
love
it's
it.
like it's a very tense, very anxious scene because he's got, he's trapped like a rat,
Yep.
trapped right in the middle, and Indy always finds a way out. Indy is a very resourceful gentleman, so
Yep.
well, I thought it was one of the cooler.
Hold on,
like,
lady.
there's
We're
not
gonna
a
go
bad
for a ride.
there's not a bad scene in this entire movie. Like I don't know, I could front to back, like it's one of those ones that like it doesn't. There's not a slow spot really. Like some
It's
of the
just
spots in the
cool.
palace are a little slow. We
Yeah.
skipped over the part where he drinks the blood and like that lasts for like 5-10 minutes and then
I did have a
He's
question
actually
about
kinda good
that.
at that.
I had a question
It was
about
another slow part.
I had a question about the blood and the spell and everything.
So
So
I've done this many times.
So is everybody just all of the followers? Are they just under the spell? Like, did they all drink the blood?
Some of them are.
I think probably a portion of them at least.
Okay.
If you don't go with them, then they make you
Mhm.
join.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, are these people actually like followers of them, or were they kind of forced to by drinking the blood and they just made them like their minions?
Right, because the kid and him, right?
Yeah.
We learn that they're under the influence, but then they are brought back by fire,
Right.
extreme pain or whatever,
Mhm.
kind of snaps you out of it. Yeah, I don't know.
I
They
just
were
thought that was
real.
interesting. Yeah.
I didn't know that, but like this group of people, what are they called?
Thuggies or whatever.
Thuggy?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were real. I mean, this depiction probably isn't accurate, but they did have like sacrifices. They were fairly violent
I
people.
believe
They
it.
did violent
Yeah.
things.
Oh,
They
thuggy
totally
is
clashed
our
with the
actions and
British.
crimes carried out by thugs historically organized gangs. So that's not the exact cult of it.
Okay.
I do know that this movie was not shown in India on release. They did ban it for a little bit, and I don't believe they show it on TV still. Depictions of Indian cuisine were
understand.
I could see that.
heavily criticized. Received a temporary ban in India. Did not release in cinemas. Later released when it came out on home video. But I mean, I could see, yes,
I
being
mean,
portrayed
the
like that,
depiction
being a
of their
little bit.
culture, both depictions, whether it's the people in the poor village or the religious zealots worshiping and doing human sacrifices,
Mhm.
neither of those depictions are great for Indians.
Yeah.
Right. That's what some people have issues with it, and it's like I listened to a bunch of podcasts about this episode. And I was just like, what are other people saying about this one? And a few episodes just address this. So like I take issue with it now, and I have so many problems with this movie. And I'm like, maybe I'm part of the problem. But like I'm aware of that shit, but like I'll watch RRR and they'll have like white people depicted in a certain way. We watched a couple shows where like they have like they're not made in America, but they have like Americans in the movie, and the way they act is just like cartoonish. It's like, yeah, like I get it. Squid Games did this, I thought, totally if you watch that show. But anyways, so like it's a thing that you do. You're painting a villain, and like not that India is the villain, but I think they were just showing that like these religious zealots in this palace were just corrupted Indians, and that's why they were like yeah, they're fucked up. Like they're not. But that's not how Indian people are. And then you see the thuggies in the underground. Like again, they're not, obviously Indian people aren't like this. This is a cult. I think maybe the poor villagers maybe offended people, but is that not based on some fact that like they're like during the British occupation they kind of fuck shit up and they kind of made it hard for people to survive? Is that?
Sure, that was
I mean,
part
I've
of it.
heard a lot of people.
Yeah. That's
I thought I
yeah.
heard a lot of people died in India because of the British invasion. So is
Yeah.
this?
That's
So it's
a
like
lot of history
it's
about
tough
that.
because the British invasion happening, the occupancy that they had, they are the heroes at the end because they show up and shoot all the archers at the end to save the day. But like in history, like we also know, like they're the bad guys. Not to say that all the
Yeah, where
British
the fuck did those
soldiers
guys
were
come
like,
from? I'm just thinking about this. Like, who went and got the
well, that
soldiers?
that British. So that British general was at the palace, and he was just like, something's weird. He was kind of picking up what Indiana
The
was
bald
because he was
guy?
poking around.
Yeah, the
You seem like
British
a you
guy.
seem like
Yeah.
a clueless army dude. I didn't think he
I
was getting anybody in there.
I mean,
I
that's
wonder
I
at
don't
the
know.
end.
That's
I wonder
how
if you
he.
see him at all at the end. If he's like leading those troops or
Yeah,
anything
he
like that.
is.
Is
Yeah,
he?
he's the one that shows up and says attack, and then they all show up with
Oh,
their
okay.
blue. Yeah.
They
So
were
yeah, blue
blue.
versus
Bad
red.
guys were red. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
that's where Halo got it from. Halo took it from
Yeah. Double Dragon
Indiana
and
Jones. Yeah,
yeah, Halo stole
essentially.
it from this movie. Um.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's easy to, I guess, depict a foreign culture as like the villains, or especially in this role of being like these evil, religious zealots, like we said, especially since to a lot of Americans at the time, Indian culture was unknown and foreign. So like
I believe
it's
that.
easy
Yeah.
to be like, oh yeah, this foreign culture, they're the villains in this movie. But
But people also
that
have
happens
issue
all
with
the
like
time.
Willie. They feel like, oh, Willie, like the way they had treated her, like that's not a real character. She has no background, and I'm like,
It's
yeah, I get it, but like for this movie, it's an adventure about Indiana Jones. It's like, where's the background to Short Round? Like, I don't need the background for the
these
side
are all
characters.
movie tropes that have been around for a long time. Like we
It
watched
is movies full of tropes.
yeah, like it seems
It's
like the foreign people are always the villains in, these type of movies, which
yeah,
it's just a trope, and it's, maybe it's not the best trope, but I don't know, it's hard to get away from.
yeah. She only cares about diamonds, and
Right.
she's shallow and
I mean, the
greedy
depiction of
and
women in
dumb.
the 70s and 80s in movies was not great. So,
No.
I mean, yeah, they're still. I mean, but like we've talked about this before, but like Annihilation is a great movie with women leads. Like it just good writing is good writing. Doesn't matter what the gender is, right? But like I'm just saying that I see this movie and like maybe people have issues with it. I'm sorry, but I don't have issue with it. I think she's great in this movie. She saves their lives halfway through the movie. She's legit funny. She's a strong, opinionated woman. She's a strong
It's just a
character. She's
little. It's
well
the
acted.
scream. It's that loud, high pitched scream
Dude,
that.
I bet if you took my wife through that shit, it'd be screaming her fucking head off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just like, sorry, she's not like grabbing bugs and squeezing them and like ever see those movies where like the woman out of nowhere becomes a badass and she just like takes down
Yeah.
a guy that's like 4 times her
Michelle
size?
Rodriguez.
This woman's not doing that, but she can fucking stick her hand in a gross bug like little opening with a switch in it. Like I don't know. Like
She
I
has
would
her
need
moments.
drugs to do that
She's got her
scene, too.
moments.
she's a fucking singer and dancer. She's an entertainer. She's
Right.
not supposed to be on adventures. I don't know. So I'm
Right.
done.
Give her a
I'm
break.
done
This was her
defending
She's
first
very-
adventure.
She's very damsel
dealing
in
with a lot.
distressy.
Listen,
But
I think it makes sense for her character and for the situation that she was thrown into. So I don't see issue with that.
she also is named after a dog, just like Indiana and Short Round. Short Round was named after the screenwriter's dog, who was named after some other movie character. Willie is named after Spielberg's dog. Indiana after George Lucas's dog.
Yeah, I knew about Indy being named after Lucas. That's cool. I didn't know she
That's
was.
kind of like, I don't know. That's a weird. I mean, it works. Like,
So wait, where does Short Round come from?
An orphan in the movie The Steel Hamlet from 1951. So apparently
Yes.
he named his dog after a Short Round, but I mean that is kind of a good dog name. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do we
I wish I would
ever
have thought about that when we got our dog.
find out what comes of Shorty and Willie in any of the other
No,
Indiana
and
Jones movies?
He's not in the last one, and it would have been prime for him to come back.
For Short Round, yeah.
But no,
Lily's not
they
in any of
don't.
the other ones either, right? She's not in the last. She's not in Dial. I don't
No.
think she was in Crystal Skull. I know they brought back. What's her face from the first one?
Yeah,
Marianne.
Marianne.
The first movie.
Yep.
In
She makes her
that
come
one.
back.
Was she in Dial Destiny too?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
It's just she makes an appearance, but yeah, I don't know. It's a good movie. It is what it is. The time has come and gone. I don't think we'll ever see Indiana Jones with either of those characters ever again.
Unless we get a
but-
game or something like that, like
I
you
mean,
said.
please give me a Telltale Indiana Jones. How about that? Can I at least get that?
That would work.
You know,
for
whip
sure.
whip the switch and get
Yeah.
out, or like stand
be
and
awesome.
fight. You know,
Well,
you know. Oh, hey,
Um,
real quick, this movie. There's a lore. I know we're wrapping up, but like, there's like 5 stones, but
Yeah.
we only see 3.
the 2 were still lost.
I just think that's cool that like it's not resolved. I thought that was a nice touch. Like Indiana Jones opens the movie without just coming back from an adventure. We don't see that, and then like this one, like there's 5 stones hidden somewhere, but the movie only like just make it 3 because like when the 3 get together in the skull, but all they need is 3, but they're looking for 5 maybe.
I was gonna say,
I don't know.
We
You
saw
can't
what it
make
could.
a cool skull with only 3.
We saw what
with
the
5.
stones could do with just the 3. What happens when you bring all 5 of them together?
Yeah, we'll never know. And it's just that was interesting because like then you get like control the world, right?
Right. Yeah, they're like
But at the end, he
all-powerful.
loses 2, and he only brings 1 back to the village, right?
Right. The original one that they stole from the village.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Thankfully.
So the game could be like an opening where it's maybe Indiana collecting the other 2, maybe, and then the rest of the game is him finding the last 2.
Sounds
I don't know,
interesting.
and he has to go to like the villages to like return. I don't know, but it's just interesting that there's
so
5.
much. I mean, the new one they're making is all original stuff anyway, so
Okay.
kind of like whatever they're doing now. I got one more making of
Sure.
fact that I want to throw by you
Okay.
guys real quick, and just to show like how, because you guys would never know this, how cool the production is and how like they put all this shit together. The rope bridge scene was filmed on 3 different continents. The entire bridge itself was built in Sri Lanka, and the scenes where Indy cuts the bridge is filmed there also.
Yep.
The scene where they're hanging and everybody else is on it was filmed in Ellsbury Studios in Hertfordshire, which, if I give this a quick Google, Hertfordshire is in England.
Okay.
And the alligators at the bottom of the cliff were filmed in Florida.
Yeah.
Which is like,
That's
you know,
funny.
you see all the shots together though, and you can't tell because the editing
really
is so kind of smooth and slick on everything like that. So,
Like you said,
don't know. I just love
the
these
only
making of facts.
disjointed scene is like the alligators when they're rolling around and ripping the stuff
Yeah.
off. Because it's like a quick cut, but it makes
throw
it
a
work.
Yeah, throw a piece of fabric onto it, let them roll around with it and play with it for a minute, and
So,
we're
Dave,
good.
I don't know how many times you've seen this movie. I've seen it a lot, and I noticed there's a change that they made in this. If you watch it on Disney Plus. So, when the main villain falls finally, and he like burns his hand, and he falls to his death into the what are they
Alligator
alligators?
pit. Yeah. Yep.
Um, they used to show him fall, and I could have sworn that it just him falling, and then there's a frame where he's just not there. Like there's no splash or anything like that. So you see him fall, and then he just cuts out, and then you just see the water underneath. And I thought that was like, wow, the editing is really bad there. And I remember seeing that a lot, like just over the years. But this time, as he's falling, they cut right away to him being eaten by the alligators. I'm like, somebody must have cleaned that poor
vaguely remember that, but
Huh.
yeah, I just remember as he's falling, he kind of bounces off the side of the cliff and out a little bit. I do remember that as a kid.
Oh yeah,
I don't know why, but then I just remember alligators. It's good. Him and Hans Gruber have two of the classic villain.
I think
death
that would make a
falls.
good TikTok if I got a bunch of villain deaths where they fall to their death. Because Mama from Dread, she also falls to her death.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh really?
it happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
true.
happens a lot.
It's a classic villain death. Yeah, fall off a building or fall off a cliff or whatever. That would be cool. That would be a cool montage.
Yeah, I'll have to look into doing that one. Okay, you got any more behind the scenes, Dave?
No, I'm good for now. I'm spent.
Okay.
The page on this goes for it's a long list of behind the scenes. There are documentaries.
I was
on the
gonna say there's
of,
got to
which-
be making of for these movies for sure.
Yeah. So
Did you guys know that like they don't? I think the people that made this one, Spielberg and Lucas, are not really proud of this one because of the dark time I think Lucas was going through. He was going through a divorce, right?
Oh really?
And I believe so. That's why this is like a dark movie. And Spielberg, I don't know what he was going through, but they look back at this as like that's not my best work or something like that. They're not proud of this. I could be wrong, but like I could have sworn I looked at that and I saw that a few times. And like I said, I listened to a bunch of podcasts and other people did pretty good research and they were saying some similar stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it is a darker movie compared to the other two. They're more like lighthearted and fun. Where this one kind of has like that middle act does get pretty dark.
Oh yeah,
pretty much from like the palace dinner to Indiana Jones snapping out of his trance.
I mean, there is some dark stuff. I mean, we covered the
drinking blood,
human ritual stuff,
like,
but there's also the
kids,
child labor, child slave stuff. They're whipping the kids. They're fucking putting them to work in the mines.
Yeah.
Like it's rough.
Yeah,
that is nice. All right, I got one more fact. I found one more.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's not. Yeah, it was nice. Kids getting whipped.
Sounds great. I mean, save me some work.
Indiana Jones gets whipped pretty good too. Like there's some.
There is. All right, maybe now I got two facts. The scene where Indy got whipped.
Oh.
Okay.
While filming the scene,
With
the
his
crew
own
played a
whip.
practical effect on Harrison Ford. While he was changed to the large stone, and this is true because it is on film, Barbara Streisand appeared dressed in a leather dominatrix outfit. She proceeded to whip him, saying, "That's for Hanover Street, the worst movie I ever saw." She continued whipping him for Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, making all of that money. Carrie Fisher then threw herself in front of Ford to protect him. Irvin Kershner chided director Steven Spielberg, "Is this how you run the movie?" And apparently this entire thing is on film somewhere.
What?
I heard about that. Yeah, it's on YouTube. I guess
sounds insane.
Batshit insane. Like
wild.
I don't know. This list is so long, and there's so many funny, good things on here. That it's hard to just kind of pick one of them as we go through them. But there is a part where when they open up the pit to let the other guy or to let Willie down, you can hear the sound of Darth Vader's lightsaber igniting. It's in the movie.
Cool.
So if you do go back and watch it, I mean, it's in there. Randy, you look very confused. Yeah.
What scene was that?
In the scene where Willie is about to be sacrificed, Darth Vader's lightsaber power-up sound effect can be heard when the doors to the lava pit are opened.
Wow. No.
Boom.
I'm usually
Like,
into sound production.
This
and I
seems
did
like
not
it's
catch
a
that.
pretty distinct sound effect too that you would catch.
They
there,
probably
too.
just
Like,
mixed it in with like all the other sounds that were going on within that scene, so you might not
But
notice it
now-
unless you're trying to pick it out.
yeah, now you got something else to listen for while you're something else to look for when you watch this movie the next
Man,
time.
yeah, I was trying to. Okay.
I mean,
that's
it's an
cool.
iconic sound. Yeah,
Nice.
like you said, you'd think you'd notice it, but I didn't notice it either. So.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
Right,
I
that's all
did
I
notice
got.
that when in that scene though, when Indy saves Willie, she like slaps him, but they use the punch sound when she did it. I just thought that was pretty funny.
No. There's a Wilhelm scream in
Oh,
there
yeah,
too.
Wilhelm
Like
scream.
those are pretty.
Oh yeah, I think
pretty
it's fairly
classic in
early
these
on. Yeah.
movies.
Yep.
I also have another note that the Prince actor can't act. That's true. That kid can't act. Like at the dinner table
The
when he's like,
Maharaji, yeah.
start talking about the history. It's like I heard this. So I'm like, wow, this is weird. I mean, the camera angle is pretty good because the camera's slowly going over that dinner table, zooming in on him. But I was like, but the delivery is so bad. I don't know. Maybe I should give these young Indian actors, a break with their acting. But I'm not impressed.
Hey, it's not their native
I don't care what your
language,
nationality
leave
is,
them alone.
man. Bad acting is bad acting.
Learn to act.
Kids are
can't act,
kids.
yeah.
Let them be.
Oh, and then finally, I have another note.
Nope.
When they do return to the village,
Mm-hmm.
right? Before all the kids run up to the villagers, Indy, Willie, and Short Run, I think they walk in front of them, and then they look at each other and smile, and then all the kids come. So they walked all the way together as a group from the caves. They show up to the village, and then would Indy like, all right, hold on, kids, hold on. Let me walk up first and be seen,
Right.
and then they'll see us, and then it'll be great for dramatic effect.
Dude, that was a lot of fucking kids too. Holy shit! Like
Maybe Indy just walked
that village
ahead
is
of
like
was walking fast.
the village has got to be like 70% kids, like 12 and under though. Like holy Christ! Because it's like I mean,
nothing
it's
else to
hundreds
do
of
in that
kids.
village, but you know.
Hey, pumping out babies. All right.
One last thing I noticed earlier in the movie, Short Round and Indy are having a moment. They're talking at night above the village about going to save these kids, and are going to investigate the for the fortune and glory shit.
The shooting
Spielberg's
star. Yeah.
Shooting star flies over. I thought it was cool.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Yeah.
I
All right,
noticed
now
that.
I'm
I
done.
noticed that as well. Yes. I say I don't know what else there is to say that we haven't said.
I'm good.
But, I mean,
It's hot in here.
it was first time watching. Had a great time. Like I said, I think this movie has just about everything you could hope for and want in a movie like this. Action adventure movie. But had a great time watching it. Definitely makes me want to watch the other, at least The Last Crusade.
Yeah, dude, please watch that one. A
Absolutely.
lot of people
That one's
love
so
that
good.
one.
And it makes me want to
what would
watch
you give-
Raiders again, give it another chance, because I don't know, I feel like maybe
Okay.
I didn't give it a fair shake the first time.
Right. What would you give this out of 100? If
Out of 100, who?
I don't. It's hard to
like
put a rank on it. Like it's
what would your tomato score be?
it's so I don't know. It's so its own genre. Hard to compare it to other things, but like, I mean, I don't know. 9 out of 10.
90.
90? Yeah, let's go with 90.
I put
That's-
in
that's pretty damn
upper
fresh.
80s.
Yeah, it's somewhere 85, 90.
Okay.
I thought it was
I'll
really
not
Give
good.
it like a 95, 97.
Especially now that they're all on Disney Plus. It's obviously easy to watch them now, so I definitely I want to go back, watch Raiders, and watch The Last Crusade, because technically The Last Crusade is a sequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark, and this one's the prequel, so it'll be a good if I watch Raiders again, I can just roll into Last Crusade. But yeah,
please do.
fun time. I'm glad we watched it.
I'm glad we watched it. I've been itching to watch an Indiana Jones movie for the podcast and talk about it.
And then we'll watch Crystal Skull, right?
Oh god,
That's
one day we'll
that's
probably
the
have to
best
watch
one,
that.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Stop it. I
Heard
saw that
nothing but
movie
good things. No,
at like a preview before it actually came out, and like the ladies out there with like the notepad, like, hey, what did everybody think of this movie? I just made a big fart sound at her, and yep, that's essentially, Eric, what I did right there. And then,
Oh,
but
man.
that was the first and last time I saw it, so I don't know. I do
Yeah,
need to kind of
same.
go back and
I tried watching it again.
Shia
and I
LaBeouf
hated
was
it.
huge at that time.
the
Oh, he's
boof.
so bad in that movie. I don't want to talk
All
about
right,
it.
yeah,
Okay,
let's
you
go.
know what?
Let's keep moving.
Let's get into our mine cart. Let's escape these villains, and we'll find ourselves into Act 3. Okay, welcome to Act 3. Gonna play a little game. Been a long adventure, but I don't know. I thought we'd have fun with the theme of Indiana Jones and finding these lost relics from the past. So
Ooh,
I have
like
one
this
called
already.
Lost and Found.
Oh boy.
So you guys know I like you guys working
Oh,
together.
I like you too.
So
Aw,
I like
so
you
nice.
guys and working together. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a fifth if we need, but I don't think we will. Let's say out of the 4 working together, if you can get more, if you can get 2 or more right, you win. All right.
What do we win?
Yeah. Archaeology camp.
Archaeology camp.
Sweet. That sounds fun.
I don't know.
We'll dig
Hoping
up
for
some
like
museum camp.
some treasure, some valuable treasure.
You can get if you each get one of the missing stones that Indy was looking
Oh,
for.
there we go.
Just
There
don't
we
put them
go.
together because you'll burn your hands. But
We'll keep them apart. Yeah, I'll keep one at my
Yeah.
house. Dave will keep one at his house.
yeah. Or just don't pray to Kali. But anyways,
I'm gonna
okay.
use
all
it
right.
to light up my pumpkin for
Don't pray to
Halloween.
golly.
So this is called Lost and Found because shit has been lost, and some things we know of, and like, man, what happened to it, right? And it gets lost, it gets rediscovered. Thank God
Mhm.
for archaeologists. It's so fascinating. People are out there in the dust, in the hot sun, just taking a brush and just little by little, like, oh shit, is that like a statue underneath the sand? And then they dig it up. So for the
That's just a
first
rock.
one, we are going to Egypt.
Okay.
And
There's a lot of lost shit in Egypt.
in Egypt, back in 196 BC, there was a thing that was called the Rosetta Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It is really the key to us understanding anything of the ancient Egyptians because it, on this one big tablet or piece of rock, you had 3 languages. You had Roman, I believe, or Latin, uh, Egyptian, and then hieroglyphics, right? The hieroglyphics were like kind of like the religious language or something like that, like the pharaohs used and stuff like that. But then there was like lower class Egyptian stuff like that. It might be another name for it. But anyways, 196 BC. When was it found? When was it discovered? Was it discovered in 1210 AD, 1498 AD, 1799 AD, 1911 AD?
I think
And
it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, just think about how like people have been moving around out about as technology and globalization has happened, where you might be able to discover these things when you're thinking about these years. But
I want to say it was more relatively recently.
Agree.
Which 1911 was the other one? That's like
That's what I was thinking too.
World War One era, and
Well, because there was a lot of digs around, like we found a lot of shit in Egypt around like the early 1900s, like I think 1920s, 1930s. There was a lot of archaeology going on in that area, so I would agree with that kind of. I don't know.
I'm just thinking
Logical
World War
dating.
One shit's getting disrupted in that area of the world. Fucking digging trenches. I don't know if there was trench warfare going on in
No,
Egypt
there's
at
no
that time,
you
but
can't do trench warfare in the sand.
okay, was it
No.
found in the desert though? Not all of Egypt is sand.
I would assume yes, it's got to be found in Cairo,
Not just in a
assumingly, 'cause
fucking
that's
sand dune somewhere.
no, that's where they have all. That was the main area in that.
Okay,
I guess
well,
time,
either way,
anyways.
we're in agreement
Yes.
with 1911.
1911 is wrong. It was 1799.
All right,
Oh.
so a little bit more recently.
1799, they found the Rosetta Stone. But up until then, we had no fucking clue what any of that shit said.
1799.
You couldn't read
18
anything.
centuries. That's
Yeah, a long time. Okay,
Damn it. All right. Well, missed that one.
here we go, guys.
over one.
But I see this is what I want to do because you guys are smart. You guys know shit. I like how you're using events in your. That's really smart. Okay, the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
They were made in 3rd century BC, they think. So, knowing that, were they discovered in 1789, 1889, 1947, 1967?
Jesus.
1789. So before the 1800s, before the Civil War, shit like that. 1889. This is probably after railroads and shit, right? 1947. So this is like after World War II, right?
Wow.
And then 1967. That's before women were burning bras, I think.
it's around the. It's a good generalization, I guess.
The Beatles were still
Well,
playing music.
1789, Eric. This would be 10 years before they found the Rosetta Stone, essentially. So if they're doing archaeology shit back then, they might have been looking for other stuff. Where would you say it was? In Israel?
Yep. Yep, Israel.
So if they're
Yep.
doing
Found in a
archaeology
cave.
in Egypt around that time, maybe that one might be good. I mean, I have no fucking idea, really, on any of these dates.
Yeah, it would be a complete just guess, shot in the dark.
Because Dead Sea Scrolls are a fairly important thing, too.
I do, for some reason, I think it was in the. I want to say it was in like the 20th century, the 1900s.
Really? You think of the 1900s? Okay.
I think, but
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say
100% sure.
I don't think it's in the 1900s because that's fucking pretty recent. Like, I don't think the dead. My mom was alive essentially when the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. Like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, what? I don't. Why not?
I don't know. It doesn't say. I don't think that it's been that recent of a discovery. I would go for one of the earlier ones, but I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. It was not 1789.
Okay.
What were the other ones?
1889,
1889.
1947, 1967.
No, my gut said 1947, but my second pick would be 1849 then.
What do you think? What do you think?
When was Israel created as a country? Was that after World War II? When it was created, I believe. I'm not googling anything. Hands up in the air. I'm just going off
I couldn't tell you.
Straight social studies classes from high school, probably. I mean, 47. I think could be. I think we could go with that. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Again,
just pick one. Don't
guess.
pick it. You got two more.
Let's go 47 then.
47 is correct, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Good job.
Wow.
Crazy though, right? That it was discovered that late.
I mean, that's
this one.
Very recent.
I think
Holy
this
shit.
one. This is one of my favorite ones, and I don't know. The fact that it's just like they buried it blows me away. That they purposely buried it. So this is the Terracotta Army in China.
Oh yeah.
Well, I thought you were gonna say
210 BC.
The ET Atari games out in the desert.
Oh my god, that was a really good bonus one. So 210 BC, the emperor purposely buries, I don't know, not hundreds, I think like thousands of statues, and each statue is like unique, but they're like buried under the dirt, under the ground, right? When in China did they discover their own history and they found like, oh my god, there's this whole hidden army of statues for this emperor? Did they discover this army, the Terracotta Army, in 1864, 1920, 1956, 1974? Now these are all, I would say, modern time, considering this is 210 BC, but 1864, 1920.
Long time. Wow.
I know, and they just
You're
sat
talking at a
there.
minimum of 2,000 years.
Yes. So it was the 1860s in China, 1920s in China, which is 10 years before Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, right? 1956, 1974.
See, Terracotta Army would make a good Indiana Jones video game sequence or scene or something like that. Seems I could see Uncharted going there too as well, but
Hmm.
You shoot out between all the different statues.
I mean, 1950s, 1970s, 1920s. I mean, it could be. I think it could be any of these.
Yeah. I
Got
have
any idea over there?
no logical guess.
I would think it would be. I think 1900s is a good. I don't
Trying
know,
to think
You
of
are
what-
correct. It is in the 1900s.
Trying to think of what
1920, 1956, or 1974 in China.
I don't know. 1920 is jumping out to me for whatever reason, as just a random guess.
What year did you pick?
1920.
And Dave, what are you thinking?
Sure, we'll go with 1920s.
1974, dude.
Oh,
Wow.
That's why I picked it. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, that's not that long ago, relatively speaking. When it was,
no!
yeah, so long ago.
That's insane.
Wow.
Crazy.
Makes me
1974.
want to be an archaeologist. Like, there's still shit hidden out there
Still
yeah.
right
stuff.
now.
Tons of
Yep.
tons of stuff.
Yep.
Very,
Gobe Tepe, or whatever that thing that everybody's hung up on, because
Machu
it's like,
Picchu and
yeah,
all sorts
what?
of them.
Oh, Machu Picchu. Oh, yeah. Machu Picchu, Peru, 1450 AD was when it was created. 1450
Wow.
AD, Peru. Machu Picchu, if anybody doesn't know, is the one where on the top of these mountains, there's a fucking incredible stone village on top of
It's
this
like
mountain.
in the
It's just,
is it Andes Mountains? I forget which one's
I
in
believe
Peru.
that's the mountains in Peru. Yeah.
Andes might be Europe.
Incredible. But nobody knew it was there
So it's up there.
until 1911, 1929, 1955, or 1988.
88. Get out of here.
1450 AD, so 1400s. People in Peru, the Perusians, I guess, I don't know what you call them. They
Peruvians.
Peruvians, right?
Yes.
They got up on top of this mountain and they just built like an incredible site. Then time forgot. Who knows what happened, right?
It is all stone too up there, which is insane.
Was it 1911 when somebody got up there and saw it? Was it 1920s when somebody got up there? Maybe they were on a donkey or something like that. Was it 1955 with the airplane?
I was gonna say, when were
1988 with like
airplanes?
some airplane scouting? You know, like when did we find this
When were
incredible
airplanes?
site?
1800s,
Was that-
right? When were the Wright brothers?
Dave just said, when were airplanes?
When were airplanes? They were now.
It depends if we're talking about commercial, because I mean they had, you know,
I mean,
the first airplane was in the 1800s, and then they had warplanes. Yeah,
Was it-
the
was
Wright
it-
brothers were
it-
late 1800s.
Was it the 1800s? I thought it was early 1900s. I thought it was
pretty
like
sure.
showing our
Pretty sure it's late
ignorance here.
1800s.
Pretty sure we're gonna get. Please, if there are corrections on this episode, send them to
There's probably a lot.
nomadsofantasy@gmail.com.
That's a Pandora's
Address them
box.
to Eric.
But yeah,
I was kinda thinking
commercial
the 19
flight wasn't available till like the, I don't know, 40s, 50s, I think.
I was gonna say
1903. We'll meet in the middle on that. Was 1903, December 17th.
For the Wright brothers? Okay, 1903. All right.
Yeah, so there wouldn't be a plane up there in 1911.
North Carolina.
They didn't have fucking planes figured out then. Yeah, it's on their quarter. First in flight.
Whole episode's a history lesson.
Yeah. 1929 or 55 seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
What were the choices?
29 or 55.
Both of them are wrong.
Okay.
So was it 1911 or was it 1988?
I mean, 88, like, people listen to Walkmans and shit. Like, I would hope to God that if there was a giant stone city on the top of a mountain by 1988, we would know about it.
Right.
That's just me. I would, out of those two, I would think 1911. But
Sure. Yeah. Both 1911.
1911. 1911 is Correct.
Yeah.
Well done.
Space fuck
You guys
or archaeology camp.
Get to go to hang out in the hot sun.
Wait, I thought we were getting the stones.
Is that what you're doing?
we
Getting stones?
Yeah, we're getting stones.
Yeah,
Is that what it is? Oh, that's right. Just stay away from it. That's right.
Although
yeah.
I don't know, I'd kind of rather go to archaeology camp than have a stone now. It sounds fun.
Yeah, you don't know what it brings good fortune. I think it brings good fortune though when you have those rocks. So
Yeah.
Put them in pumpkins and you put them next to each other, and then they light each other up.
Ooh,
Boom.
dude,
Done.
how are those not like Halloween decorations?
They probably are. I'm sure you could get the skull, a mini version of the skull with the stones. Yeah.
I need to get like more action figures. Like I got like the Terminator here, but like I need to get like an Indiana Jones one. I've seen them.
Oh yeah.
I should get one. I love Indy. Yeah. I love Indy so much. We got done talking about it. We just did a fun game. It feels good to be back for season 4. Things are rolling out now. Now that we're back in the swing of things, things are shaking up a little bit. We're gonna have more variety with the show. So this is the main episode. We're still gonna be doing those, but we're also gonna like not do as much. Probably do like 2 a month, and sneak in between these episodes stuff like, I don't know, whatever reactions, early impressions. If we get around to doing our side shows, like
an anime corner or two
Fireside
out there, you never know what's gonna pop up.
I know you got one that you got planned. I know you got hit with COVID, but I know you have one planned and stuff like that. So that'll be coming. But it feels good to be back. And if anybody has suggestions, you know how to get a hold of us. Please join our Discord.
Right.
How do they do all this, Eric? Actually,
Brandon, I'm glad you asked. They can follow us on X and Instagram at Nomads of Fantasy. They can join our Discord at the nomadsoffantasy.com/Discord. They can email us at nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com.
Follow us on TikTok.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok at the Nomads of Fantasy. We're starting to get a little bit more TikTok content out there. That's always fun. But yeah, I think that's about all the ways you can contact us. But if you want to play our game, whatmapgame.com. Like I said at the top of the show, we just added a cool new feature where you can play previous maps. We've already done like 350 of them, so you got plenty to choose from there. So check that out, whatmapgame.com. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much all I got for you brave adventurers. So glad that you joined us on our journey for this one.